Huh? What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogreboy, and I'm going to be doing my ranking for all 5 movies in the Scream franchise. Now that I've recently re-reviewed all of the first 4 movies and have seen and reviewed the 5th movie, I thought I'd go ahead and do my ranking. I was considering doing a ranking of the killers first, but I'm going to wait till I rewatch Scream 5 to really decide how to do my ranking of the killers. Now I might do that video once 5 hits DVD and I get that one and rewatch it. But I thought I'd go ahead and do my ranking of the movies at least. This is a franchise that I think is pretty consistent. It's like one of the best horror franchises that, as far as the quality goes, like they don't really dip too much in quality like other franchises. Some franchises do. A lot of the best franchises have their big lows and everything. Like Friday the 13th, I love that franchise, but it does have some stinkers in it. And this franchise only has one movie that I don't really care for, and that's my number 5 pick. So coming in at number 5 is Scream 3. This is just one that I'm not a big fan of. It has that Hollywood setting, kind of like Seed of Chucky did too. It has a lot of they really up the meta humor in it, and it just didn't work very well in this one. It works really great in all of the other movies in the franchise. It just wasn't very well written in this one. There were some decent parts in here. It did have a cool opening with Cotton Weary getting killed off. I thought that was kind of a cool opening and everything. But like the whole Hollywood setting and them being with the cast of the people playing their characters, I just didn't really like that very well. Especially Parker Posey's character, who's playing Gail Weathers in the Stab movies. I just didn't care for her very much. I'm not really a big fan of Parker Posey, but I don't have anything against her either. I just didn't really like her in this movie personally, and it just wasn't as fun. The killer reveal was unique though. I like that they only had one killer in this movie, and his voice changer thing was kind of cool and unique, but it just wasn't the best. It could have been so much better. It had a lot of production problems though, and everything. They rewrote the script and toned down the violence and stuff because of the Columbine shooting. The kills aren't very gory or anything, which are not super gory in most of the movies, although they are a lot better and more as far as like blood and stuff goes in 4 and 5. But this one, they're pretty watered down and stuff because of the Columbine shooting, because the Scream movies were blamed for that. One of the things blamed for that shooting and everything, which I think is stupid. But this just, it could have been a lot better, but there are way worse movies and other horror franchises too. So I will say, even though I don't care too much for this one is still an okay movie, and it's consistent enough with the franchise that it doesn't really hurt the Scream name like some other franchises. Like Seed of Chucky almost destroyed that the Child's Play franchise. This one just was, if they would have kept it at a trilogy, it would have been a whimper, but it's the only one that's not super great to me, and it kind of stands out for that reason as a little bit of a dud, but it's okay. It's just mediocre. So Scream 3 is number 5, and number 4 is Scream 2. This movie was fast-tracked after the success of the first one to be released within less than a year of the first, and somehow they were able to make it work. I honestly am always amazed every time I watch this, like, at how well it works and everything. Like, you don't really see the production problems that this movie went through and everything, because they had to do a lot of rewrites and stuff because the script leaked online and stuff. It was one of the first movies to really have that happen, and but I really like this one. I think it's a lot of fun. The college setting is kind of cool, and it kind of has that little homage feel to like college themed horror movies. I thought that was kind of cool, and like the whole commentary on sequels was pretty well done. and everything. My biggest complaint in this movie is that they killed Randy off. I wish they would have kept him in the franchise a little bit longer because he's a fan favorite, and I hated that they just killed him off like that. But that being said, I do enjoy this movie quite a bit, and there are some other things about it that I didn't like. Some of my negatives have been kind of fixed by Scream 5. Stuff that just Scream 5 made me realize that I'm glad it didn't happen in this one. So I'm not really going to say what they are. If you've seen my reviews, you probably know, or if you've seen the movies, you might be able to figure it out if you've seen the newest one. But I don't want to talk spoilers, so that's the most I'm going to say on that part. But I think this is a really good movie, and the killers are pretty good, especially Mrs. Loomis. Mrs. Loomis. I really like her a lot. I thought Mickey was pretty good too, although I hated his motivation, even though his motivation is pretty crazy and stuff. And that's one of the things I love in this franchise, is the killers that are just plain crazy and doing it just because they're crazy. I love that when they do that in these movies. So it's just one of those things. It's a really good sequel, and everything. And just because it's number 4 doesn't mean I think it's bad, because I really love all of these movies except for 3 and everything. So pretty much from this one up, I think they're all really good movies. Scream 2 is number 4, and number 3 is Scream 5. This is the newest one in the franchise. It just came out a couple days ago, so I'm not going to talk too awful much about it so I don't spoil it, but I really enjoyed this one. It's very, very good requel and everything. I like that they do a lot of commentary on requels and the trends that are going on in Hollywood now with bringing back franchises and making them where they're kind of reboots, but they're also sequels and stuff. But I love this movie. I think it's a really, really fun time. I really enjoyed it. I didn't expect to like it near as much as I did, because I was really eerie about it not being written by Kevin Williamson, because last time he didn't write one. We got Scream 3, which is easily one of the worst in the franchise. So I was really impressed with how much I like this one and everything. I think it's really enjoyable, and the directors did a really good job, and I think Wes Craven would have been proud of this movie because they did a good job with it and everything. So Scream 5 is number 3, and number 2 is Scream 4. Every time I watch this movie, I always forget how great this one is. It's just a lot of fun. This is the one that kind of has the commentary on the remakes trend that was going on in the early 2000s, even though this movie came out pretty much after that trend was about dead. The Nightmare on Elm Street remake was pretty much the one that kind of ended that trend and everything, but this was kind of like the tail end of it. But I love this movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. And when I went to see it in the theater, it totally blew my mind that Jill was the killer, because I thought they were planning on making it where she was going to be the one to continue the franchise on and be the new main character and everything. And Wes Craven did have a lot of plans for her to still be a main character, even though she was a killer, but the Weinsteins kind of intervened and ruined the ending and stuff, and this movie underperformed, so we never got to see what they were going to do with Jill, which really sucks because I really liked her, and Emma Roberts is just amazing as that character. She's a really underrated actress, and she's amazing as Jill. But I absolutely love Scream 4. I think it's a really, really good return to form for the franchise, bringing back Kevin Williamson and everything, and it was Wes Craven's last movie, which it would have been cool if his last movie would have been something original, not a Scream sequel. But at the same time, at least it is one of the better sequels in the franchise. And to me, it's my second favorite movie. So Scream 4 is number 2, and my number 1 favorite movie in the Scream franchise is Scream, the original from 1996, which I'm pretty sure most people would have this as their favorite. It's such a great movie. It was revolutionary for the slasher genre. It revived it, and it brought the slasher genre back into popularity. And it's just very, very entertaining. I absolutely love it. The cast were all just spot on perfect. That has some of the best jokes in the franchise, with the especially like the scene when Randy is watching the movie and Ghostface is walking up behind him on the couch and stuff. I love that scene. And it's a great introduction to these characters too, and the killers are great. I don't know if I'd say Billy and Stu are my most favorites in the franchise. I really, like I said, I'm gonna have to do a lot of thinking on who my favorite killers are in this franchise, because I think most of them are really good. But this is just a really, really great opening to a franchise that could have just been a one and done. But I'm glad that we got the sequels that we did, because it's one of those franchises that didn't have to be a franchise, but I'm glad it was, because the rest of them were fun to watch. It's my most favorite slasher franchise. Definitely not. The kills are all pretty much the same in the whole franchise. It's just a bunch of stabbing or gutting, stuff like that. That they don't really do much different with the kills, but the stories are always interesting, and the mystery is always fun to watch. Always makes one fun to rewatch, and I absolutely love this one. It's a classic. So Scream is easily my favorite movie out of the franchise. So anyway, let me know in the comments what your favorite Scream movie is. If you want, you can tell me your ranking or your favorite and least favorite. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.